ही अत्यंत महत्त्वाच्या काळात मोठी जबाबदारी आहे असं मत भारताचे परराष्ट्र मंत्री डॉक्टर एस.जयश यांनी व्यक्त केले. पुणे इंटरनॅशनल सेंटरच्या पॉलिसी रिसर्च थिंक टँक आणि परराष्ट्र व्यवहार मंत्रालय यांच्या संयुक्त विद्यमाने पुण्यातील हॉटेल JW मॅरिट येथे 23 ते 25 फेब्रुवारी दरम्यान आयोजित करण्यात आलेल्या एशिया इकॉनॉमिक डायलॉग 2023 या भू अर्थशास्त्र परिषदेच्या उद्घाटन सत्रात ते बोलत होते. याप्रसंगी ज्येष्ठ शास्त्रज्ञ आणि PICचे अध्यक्ष डॉक्टर रघुनाथ माशेलकर यांनी उपस्थितांचं स्वागत केलं. उद्घाटन सत्रात भारताचे परराष्ट्र मंत्री डॉक्टर एस.जयश, भूतानचे अर्थमंत्री लियोम्पो नामगे शेरिन आणि मालदीवचे अर्थमंत्री इब्राहिम आमिर सहभागी झाले होते. AED 2023चे संयोजक गौतम बंबवाले हे या सत्राच्या अध्यक्षस्थानी होते. भारताचे परराष्ट्र मंत्री डॉक्टर एस जयशंकर म्हणाले की सध्याच्या काळात 3 महत्त्वाच्या मुद्द्यांमध्ये शेजारील राष्ट्र, कोविड तसेच जागतिक भू राजकीय परिस्थितीमुळे निर्माण झालेली स्थिती आणि हवामान बदल यांचा समावेश आहे. या 3 समस्यांवरील उपाय देखील 3C आहेत, ज्यामध्ये सर्जनशीलता, सावधगिरी आणि विश्वासार्हता हे आहेत. भूतानचे अर्थमंत्री लियोम्पो नामगे शेरिन म्हणाले की कोविडोत्तर काळात रशिया-युक्रेन युद्धामुळे निर्माण झालेली भूराजकीय स्थिती आणि त्यामुळे पुरवठा साखळीवर झालेला परिणाम यामुळे आयातीवर अवलंबून असलेल्या भूतानसारख्या देशावर प्रभाव पडला आहे. याशिवाय हवामान बदल आणि वाढणारी वित्तीय तूट हे आव्हानात्मक मुद्दे आहेत. मालदीवचे अर्थमंत्री इब्राहिम आमिर म्हणाले की कोविड आणि युक्रेन युद्धामुळे निर्माण झालेला परिस्थितीचा प्रभाव हा चिंतेचा विषय आहे. आमच्या अर्थनियोजनातील मोठा हिस्सा हा हवामान बदलाशी सामना करण्यासाठी द्यावा लागतो. G20 समिटमध्ये हवामान बदल आणि याचा सामना करण्यासाठी कमी व्याजदरात वित्तपुरवठा या विषयावर चर्चा व्हावी अशी आमची अपेक्षा आहे. ही परिषद एक प्रमुख आंतरराष्ट्रीय कार्यक्रम असून यामध्ये मंत्री, धोरणकर्ते, औद्योगिक नेतृत्व, विविध क्षेत्रातील तज्ज्ञ, जागतिक व्यापार आणि अर्थतज्ज्ञ यांचा सहभाग असणार आहे. या परिषदेत ब्राझील, US, UK, साऊथ आफ्रिका, भूतान, मालदीव, सिंगापूर आणि मेक्सिकोसह 12 देशातील 44 वक्ते सहभागी होणार आहेत.
If I were to pick 3 big issues in the forefront of my thoughts, one, I would actually reflect on our neighborhood. Neighborhood, partly because we are the neighborhood, the 3 of us. But we have an approach since 2014 called Neighborhood First. It's the neighborhood itself has seen a sea change. I'm not sure it's something which people in our own country fully understand and appreciate. I think the neighborhood perhaps does more than we ourselves do. So to me, the neighborhood first would be one big, I would say, concern, focus, thought, call it what you will. The second would be the state of the world, would be the state of the world. I think the 3 C's is a very snappy summing up of the problems, which is COVID, conflict, and climate. And climate is increasingly an operational problem, not just existential one, because we can see already that climate is creating disruptions to the routine economic, routine operations of the global economy. But it's not obviously enough to say I got a 3C problem. You got to have a solution, and I think the solution is also a kind of a 3C solution, which is that somewhere there has to be a degree of creativity, a sense of caution about this world we are entering to. And finally, I think that the world is suffering today from credibility issues. So to me, there are 3 C's as a problem. There are probably 3 C's as some kind of solution. And the third is the G20 presidency. It's a very important responsibility at a very critical moment. And I think there are a lot of expectations from India. And we too must look at the world and see how we can use it to enhance global awareness, which is very important for India if it is to develop the mindset of a rising power.
I think for Bhutan as a small developing nation, challenged with the topographical difficulties, and I mean to say we are landlocked, and especially because of the COVID, in the post-pandemic world, the three important aspects that actually lingers around my mind, that actually disturbs me, and sometimes I see that as an opportunity to grow from strength to strength, but sometimes I see that as a troublemaker for the small developing nation like Bhutan. And the first and the foremost is the geopolitical tensions around the world, and case in point, the ongoing Ukraine war, which has actually impacted and severely disrupted the supply chain. And this has actually resulted in Bhutan as a small economy, and most importantly, we being largely an import-driven economy, we are susceptible to, the injected form of an inflation, and which has caused macroeconomic imbalances. And this is a serious concern that we don't see an upfront intervention or response to that. But I think having a dear neighbor with a lot of economic resilience and a lot of innovations like India, I think we are very much positive that the growth in India will directly or indirectly translate or have a cascading effect into a smaller economy like us. Second aspect that I see is the climate change. I think climate change has become a kind of a universal the phenomenon, the challenge, whether the country is sea-locked or landlocked. And for instance, in Bhutan, we always say that, we always praise ourselves saying that we are not only carbon neutral, but we are carbon negative. That's the fact. We have a forest coverage of 72%. And our constitution mandates that forest coverage should be maintained at all times at 60%. But having said that, I think if the partners across the world doesn't play their equal roles and responsibilities, and doesn't keep up their words, I think smaller nations cannot make much difference. The biggest challenge for Bhutan, because of the climate change effect, is the glacial lake outburst. We are highly susceptible and vulnerable to gulf. And third important aspect that actually